Hey everybody, it's Stacie Duffy here, your Denver Metro real estate resource, and today we're going to do some math. I know, most people don't like to do math, but we're going to do it anyway. So a question I get pretty often, especially first-time sellers, is why is it so expensive to sell my house? And the biggest question is the brokerage expenses, right? So there are lots of sellers that actually pick their brokerage based on what they charge because everybody wants a good deal. I don't blame you. I shop on Slick Deals. I shop clearance and sales. I want a good deal too. But in real estate, as in many other things, you often get what you pay for. So we're going to do some math. I've got some stuff written down in my little notebook, and I'll probably have to flip the video to make sure you can read it. But anyway, I'll figure that out later. Typical brokerage expenses, there's no standard regulated average commission or anything like that. It is negotiable, and some people it's negotiable, some people choose not to negotiate on that. One thing on negotiating, and I'll just say this once, negotiating with your seller's agent on what they're charging or what their commission is. If they can't negotiate for themselves, in other words, if they just fold and give you what you want right away, how well do you think they're going to negotiate for you? When a buyer says, or a buyer's agent is pushing them on price and things like that, if we can't negotiate for ourselves in our own pocketbook and family and livelihood, I have a hard time believing that someone would do a good job for somebody else. So I'm just going to throw that out there and leave it where it is and then let that soak in, and we'll move on. So for some math, I'm just going to use 6% as an example. So if you are interviewing a seller, an agent to be your seller's agent, because you should be interviewing agents, as I always say, if you're interviewing a seller's agent and they say, okay, you go through the whole shebang and the whole spiel on what their value proposition is and all that stuff, and they say, okay, I charge 6%, and that is my fee to sell your home. So that's your brokerage expense. And you're thinking, God, 6%? On a $300,000 house, because that's my example, that's $18,000. You're like, that's really expensive. Okay, I'm just going to do, there's a lot of different ways this breaks down. I'm just going to do a simple version so you can understand where that money goes, okay, or where it could go, where it often goes. So we're going to start with sorry, I'm using my Rocket books. I love them. If you're not a Rocket book fan or you haven't tried them out, check them out. They're really cool. So anyway, so we have 6%, so on a $300,000 house, that works out to $18K, okay? So remember when you bought that house as a first-time buyer and your buyer's agent said, don't worry, you don't have to pay me, the seller's gonna pay me for you. Well, guess what? That's coming full circle, and now you're the seller, so you get to pay both sides of that. So that's why this chunk is so big. So 3% is going to go to the buyer's agent, because you didn't pay, chances are, not always, but chances are you didn't pay your agent when you bought the house, so now you get to pay both, all right? You get it free on the front end, and then you got to double up on the back end. And then the other 3% goes to your agent, seller's agent, okay? So that works out to $9K a piece. This is just an example, like I said, not standard, customary, can be different, all kinds of things. But let's just run with that and say, okay, so that $9,000 that your agent is getting from you, that you were paying them to do their job. So let's take out $2,700 as an example goes to their broker. So broker splits can be all different things, but 30% to your brokerage or franchise is not an unusual split, okay? So that already takes a good chunk out of that. Then let's take, sorry, I'm trying to read this backwards on my phone. So I would say most real estate professionals run about, or realtors run about 20%, 25% on their expenses, okay? That's going to include a bunch of different things. So I listed a bunch here for you. So some of that is going to be, sorry, I can't read that upside down or backwards. Obviously marketing your home, taking photos, staging the property. I just had a listing that wasn't far off this price range. I spent $1,000 on staging, okay? That's usually significantly above my budget. We made up for it in other areas, but we spend a lot of money to market your home. That's our job, okay? One of the many things of our job. So we're gonna spend money and we have expenses marketing your home, but you have to keep in mind we have to market ourselves. right? So we have to get out there and find clients. That's a lot of our business too. It's not just taking care of you. It's if our clients aren't sending us referrals, which is why we love referrals, but we have to find our own business. We are business owners, okay? So there are expenses to marketing ourselves, along with costs of doing business in general. So we have licensing fees, we have our MLS fees, we have errors and omissions insurance, that we have to pay. We have a lot of different fees and just the cost of doing business, okay? But all in, roughly, most realtors or real estate agents, that's gonna run 20 to 30%. I went on the low end at 20 and said that's $1,800, okay? So the next thing, taxes. Yay! We don't have someone taking those out of our check, all right? So whatever we get, that's got to be taken out too. So not only do we have federal income tax, and here in Colorado we have state income tax, we also have to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes, right? That's a hefty chunk paying our taxes. So all in, that leaves us with, from, your $300,000 sale, roughly $2,700 to live on, okay? That means we have to pay our health insurance with that. That means we have to pay our mortgage with that, our utilities with that, everything else, because like I said, we don't have someone paying our pension, our 401k, our health insurance, all of that. So it goes from $18K down to a lot less than this really fast. I just want to give some background on that so you have an understanding of, not only do we not keep all of that money, by the time everything gets taken out, it's just like it's owning a business is what it is. So, but anyway, if you have more questions on that, please feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. You can leave those down below. Like I said, this is just an example, but just throwing it out there. If you are liking my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to reach out to me directly, you're welcome to do that as well. My contact information is on my website, and the link for that is down below. So thanks so much for the time, and have a great day.